Welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. This is a safe space where we invite healthcare providers to unapologetically be themselves after the working day. My name is Jennifer George, and each week I will connect you with guests and stories that will help transform your stress to success and fulfillment. Are you with me? Grab your drink of choice and let's chat. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and I'm joining you today with a combination of BCAAs and electrolytes post-workout. Sometimes I won't have my protein-based drink right after a workout just because I have something to do, but I always try to make sure I have the BCAAs at least to trigger that repair process. So one of the reasons why I'm out here with you today is because I want to chat with you about why we tolerate toxic workplaces. And there's this thing in healthcare where we don't talk about toxic workplaces enough, but yet they are very common, very, very common. And toxic workplaces and work cultures in general are very common. But sometimes I think there's a shame around talking about it in healthcare because we are in a profession of caring for others that, we feel uncomfortable talking about this in our profession. And another reason for it is I think there's issues around confidentiality, and there's issues around perhaps feeling retaliation or anything like that, and making perhaps the situation worse, right? So while I understand all of those things, it's not something you have to talk about if you're not comfortable with it. But I have chatted with many people over the years, and I myself have experienced doses of toxic workplaces, and I know how challenging it is to work in one, and I know what it can do to the human spirit over time. And that's why I feel compelled to share this with you today. So three reasons that perhaps right now you may be tolerating a toxic workplace. It's going to be a bit uncomfortable, but I think that together, we'll find value in it. The first thing is you don't know who you are without attachment to what you do. You don't know who you are without attachment to what you do. So for a moment, you are probably not even hearing your own voice. You've lost your sense of self in this toxic workplace and in this toxic environment or culture. And one thing you can do to kind of regain your sense of self is to sit and reflect and ask yourself, in your own company, by the way, who am I when I'm not working, when I'm not helping others, when I'm not serving? Who am I when I am not earning any money, when I don't have any materialistic things in my life? Who am I at the end of the day? And am I okay with who I am? Do I enjoy being in my own company? And if the answer is no, then there's something deeper to that that's making you tolerate your toxic workplace. So ask yourself who you are and start listing anything that comes to mind that is not attached to your work, or that is not attached to your success in terms of your work. Second, you may believe that you deserve the toxic workplace or pain in which you find yourself in right now. And it's not intentional, it's not something you're totally aware of, but subconsciously you may feel like you deserve to be in that situation. And when we start to tolerate it for so long, what ends up happening is that our sense of self-worth, self-acceptance, self-compassion, those things start to become depleted. And you start to maybe ask yourself, or doubt yourself, I should say, asking, where will I go? What will I do? What will others think? Who will hire me? Can I create the career that I always envisioned? You may even justify or rationalize by saying, every workplace is toxic or has its own issues. While that may be true, Some issues are just more powerful than others and more harmful than others. So having the clarity to see that as well. Third, the toxicity that you're in is not yet greater than the pain you're experiencing. So eventually we all have a threshold. And what ends up happening is it may not be even the persistent toxic factors that you're experiencing, but it may be something small that then triggers you to change directions or pivot or leave or find a way to empower yourself through it. And you may feel at this point that you're in this position because you need to be, right? You need to have a sense of safety. You need to have, money and basic needs. And while I understand that, my question to you then is, why are you not taking steps towards creating or attracting or moving towards what it is that you feel more aligned with while you are tolerating the toxic workplace? Because what's going to end up happening is the more you tolerate it, you're going to reach that breaking point. So if you already know you're in a toxic workplace, you already know that you can't be there forever because you know that your mental health, your physical health, every aspect of your health will be compromised, then what could you do right now? What small step could you take right now to feel more aligned? At the end of the day, we always have choice, but when you're in a toxic workplace, you feel disempowered over time. So one of the things I did when I was foreseeing things not getting better, they were starting to become toxic, and I could see the way in which the direction was going, that I was like, this is not for me. I can't stay in this environment and operate in this way. It's just going to add more stress to my life, more anxiety, more overwhelm. Is I started looking for jobs while I was still in the job I was in. It was that simple. And I'm telling you, it's a partly timing and it's partly divine intervention, okay? It's the same thing with, like, have you ever started looking for a home to buy, and you could be looking forever and ever and ever, and then all of a sudden maybe you're on your lunch break and you decide to check, and then out of nowhere, like a post that comes up on the realtor board that was just posted a few minutes ago is like seemingly perfect, and it's just basically made for you. It was almost like it just appeared on your own computer or cell phone when you were scrolling. That's kind of what it's like when you are considering leaving a toxic workplace and you're not getting your toes wet yet in doing so. Part of it is faith, part of it is trusting the process, and part of it is going back to that sense of self-worth, knowing that you will be okay no matter what. So you will be okay if you leave, when you leave. You will be okay if you decide to change things within your power that you can. You will be okay. But that comes from your sense of self-worth. So I hope you guys found this valuable. I hope you found it helpful in the sense of directing you and maybe giving you awareness in terms of why you may be still stuck and what factors are in your control. And oftentimes the factors that are in your control have everything to do with you and not with other people, not with systematic challenges, not with political issues. It has to do with you. So just remember that you are more than who others say you are. You are more than the way others treat you. Okay, you are more than your work and the outcomes that you bring to your patients every day. You are more than all of that. Okay, and when all of that is gone, who are you at the end of the day? So let me know what you guys think. If you liked this podcast, please take a screenshot, share it, tag me. My handle on Instagram is at bestobsessed_with_Jen, or DM me if you can relate to this podcast in some way, shape, or form. I often find that people will DM me rather than comment or share a review related to anything like this, because it's very personal. And the point of this podcast and the point of me providing guidance and coaching to other healthcare professionals is to create that safe space of being yourself and finding yourself and transforming all of this type of stress that will potentially lead to your burnout to success on your terms and what that means to you and for you. Okay, guys, so have a great rest of the week, and remember, until we chat next time, to stay happy. So if you guys like this podcast, please subscribe and leave an honest review. Your feedback means everything to me. Your reviews are what moves this podcast forward, and I always appreciate receiving them. If you want to get a hold of me directly, reach out to me on social media. My handles are in the show notes, and you can always subscribe to my weekly newsletters at jennifergeorge.co so that we can stay connected. So until next time, thank you guys so much again for your ongoing support.